Hi, and welcome to the audio commentary for Grand Bahamas. This was filmed between the 28th of May and the 1st of June 2010. And here is the hotel that I was staying at on the far left there in Freeport. You basically walk down through the marketplace down here to the approximately that position to the dive shop, Unexo. There's some of the shallow water as this was actually going back toward the shore, but I used it as a way to get out of the area there. There's a nice large grouper. Looked like he was yawning just below the anchor line there. And of course, if you're in the Bahamas, there are numerous reef sharks, of which I have a couple of very nice close shots, such as that one right there. A matter of less than 5 feet from that shark. All over the place. Lovely place to dive as far as shark wildlife specifically, or sea life. And this particular one looks like it has a hook in its mouth and a little bit of fishing line, so it fought off being caught by a shark. So in the background there you see what looks like a mermaid. That's actually one of the dive masters from Unexo, and she was wearing an outfit, like a dive outfit that was like a mermaid, where her legs were in a sort of wetsuit bottom that had a plastic fin zipped inside of it. It's kind of interesting. These were a couple of fish that were surrounding me, and I decided to try to track them and get a shot of them. So there's a large, this thing is almost the size of a tortoise, as you can see. It's the size of, a human torso. And I spotted it on the distance. I believe this was on the way down at the start of a dive, because I'm probably at about 15 or 20 feet. This is another, probably a different turtle at a different point in the dive, probably not even the same dive. I just kept the shot going as long as I could to make it somewhat interesting. Kind of just leave it observing them in flight here. So this is Theo's wreck. This was filmed on the 30th of May 2010. The bottom of the shipwreck here is 100 feet. That was the longest or the deepest part of the dive. The whole dive was about 26 minutes in length. Down to 100 feet, and we went down on a static line here, and then we went into a large open area. The boat is the Theo's wreck. Shipwreck is actually on its side. It is on its port side, I believe, and this is a large open area. So top to bottom in this image is actually left to right inside the boat, or inside the ship, I should say. And there's a nice wide open area in here. Looks a little fuzzy on the video. This was shot without a lens filter, which would have been preferable. As you can see, everything kind of crushes to blue, kind of a light blue in that area. This was quite a fun area of the dive, this wide open area where you can just hang out inside something that has a sense that you're in something the size of a gymnasium. The video simply does not do it justice. It looks much smaller than it really is. Here's some tube sponges on the side here. Or I guess that's the bottom of the boat. There's some more barnacles and reef that's growing into the ship there. Then I'm looking back here at the divers that are behind me, trying to convey the size of this room as best I can here. Very difficult to convey the size of this area on a video. You have to experience it yourself. And in this section, in the front of the ship, there is a large swim-through, or well, I don't know that it's large, but it's a swim-through anyway, right here. And we all went through there in a line. And what we're actually doing is going down through the bottom of the ship. We're going to hang a right, and then we're going to go up into or exit the ship through the side, and then there'll be some currents, and then I'll look back on where we were. But this was, I think this was the very first swim through of this kind that I went through here, and it gets very dark for just a moment. You can see all the little particles hanging out in the water there. And you can see the fins, or maybe the tank of the person in front of me, as we go around the corner here, and then we finally see light. And we're kind of looking down through some of the scraps of the ship. There we go. See straight ahead there. It wasn't quite as cramped as it looks. It was very, it was kind of interesting if you like swim-throughs and that sort of thing. And then we sort of go up, as you can see this person. So this, the person that's in front of me is going to knock his tank on the edge there, and you're going to see some debris hanging out. Once I pan back up here, I was looking down, trying to show some interesting parts of inside the ship. And there you go. You see a bit of the reef has, the side of the ship has scraped off. And then I twirl up here, kind of twirl around, and then slowly ascend, and kept the camera going, obviously, through the whole dive here. And then I turn to the side here, which is very quickly, and the dive master is going to point us to the static line to get back to the boat. And there I am, pointing me right there, getting on the static line, hanging on the static line, looking down through the porthole that I had, that we all had just come out of. And here's a plaque which we probably can't read because of the fuzzy video, but it basically says this is Theo's wreck, and it was dedicated on a certain date, and so on. And here's the top of the shipwreck where this might have been earlier in the dive, and I chose to put it at the end of the dive because the most exciting part is the swim through at the beginning. And the rest of this is just a bunch of pipes and stuff from the top of the boat kind of sticking out. So in retrospective, I might have deleted some of this material because the most exciting part was really just the swim through, and the rest of it was pretty standard look around at a wreck kind of footage. You see some fish. So I said earlier that the filter, there's not a red. I did not put a red lens filter on it on the camera as I should have, and that's why the video kind of crushes to blue through this and looks kind of fuzzy. This was a SeaLife video camera. This was not a high def version. This was the first one that I had. It shoots a 4:3 digital video. And we're looking up from more of a bottom section here. The dive was only about 26 minutes, so I shot what footage I could, try to get whatever the most interesting footage is. And here's some reef. We're kind of looking up here. There's a static line going up to the boat, or a buoy. There's some other divers hanging out. This is probably 50 feet down here, and we're looking up at the boat here. Kind of like those shots looking up there. And then there's a dissolve back to the water we saw at the beginning, and that's it. Thanks very much for watching.